All right, folks. Hey, welcome on back here to wrap things up this week, this Friday, August 15th, the Ides of, well, not March, but August. Great to have all of us here just joining us inside our live trading room. I saw Leda just before, Roberto, Ralph, Brett, got all of us just joining us here. Let me know if you got me here over the mic, folks, loud and clear from all. Should be good. Came rushing right back, actually. I was doing a couple things around the Levitan compound we got here. So heading into the weekend, I'm actually prepping up to fly out to New York on Monday. I actually had a little rescheduling with the phase 1 class. Instead of Monday and Friday next week, it'll be on Tuesday and Friday. So got a busy Tuesday at least, right? Also Traders Talk Tuesday, keep in mind. So Lauren, Scott, Roger, Farzad, Michael, and of course, as I'd said, the aforementioned Leda. But let's hop over right over to YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc., wherever you may be residing on the internet here this afternoon, this Friday afternoon. But without further ado, there's a lot to talk about, as always. I feel like I'm a broken record player every 2:30 Eastern during the week with saying that, but there's just always an opportunity out there within this market. Even when we have a choppy day like today, hopefully we can get a nice push back up, higher highs. But even without that, we've done pretty damn well across the board. So even getting to the trade that was on the screen here heading into this meeting, this Rigetti stock. Now, if you recall back 2 days ago, back on Wednesday when we finished up the meeting, Chuck called this out, and I wanted to start and stick with our watch list, but we love this stock normally. So it was a great call out, and this thing just went to the moon. This thing just took completely off like a missile up towards 18 and change. Now, it was so nice, it had to do it twice. I ended up doing that heading into the afternoon just yesterday, and that's where I ended up jumping in off of this 1670 level. This area is like a historical support resistance on the long-term chart. But with that said, why not make it a hat trick, right? It's down 6% today, so I actually would have found this on the loser side as we went from top to bottom, from the gainers to the losers list here. But, I could see myself just putting this on our main list for all of us here. For Dave, Lauren, Scott, like I said, you got Lynn and Randy here. I saw Elmer joining us, one of our great traders here. Joyce, great to see. Kathleen, as always. Russell. But what we'll just do is go across the rest of the gainers here in just a bit. I have some other stocks I'll update you on in just a moment. As you could see, the iron, of course, is one of the big ones that we've been talking about in our room. Dave just took a nice profit right now, one of our coaching students here and platinum students nonetheless, and he just nailed it on this stock. He was in from 1960, just took some out at 2017. Beautiful job, Dave. We'll go over right to the iron in just a bit. Let's go right from top to bottom here, though. See what we could already build up for the afternoon. PGen, I think I got to go back to my market charting here, right? What a break, Tim. Now, with that said, let's go from top to bottom, because this thing literally went from top back down to bottom, and it's been moving back around a bit here. But, for a stock trading as much volume as this is on the day, 157 million shares, I bet you this is some low float stock. And if it's not low float, then maybe there's a shot I could try and make a better move. All right, 266 million. That's definitely not like low for our standards. It's got good order book. All right, there's a shot that this can try and make a better squeeze up. We saw it just yesterday with the Wolf trade. Now, that's not a low float stock by any stretch of the imagination. This ended up making a hell of a push going into the afternoon. It's back to the highs. So, right away, why not 2-for-1 special? We'll go with PGen. We'll also add Wolf here while we're at it, right? This one's up like 4%, the Wolf trade, but from yesterday's move, we got to keep going with it. Let's see what else we got, though, here. MTNB. Looks like a pharma stock, moved up earlier. It's still up, not a whole lot where you could think, well, never mind, I lied. So this stock was about 90 cents back on the 8th, back 1 week ago. So counting from a week ago to today, it's up a lot still, right? And it was up that much more here. So I'll come back to it if it wants to keep kind of pushing up, holding there for the meantime. But we got other runners, right? I mean, what was the big one this week, folks? Let me ask our students inside our live trading room this. What was the stock this week, Monday through today? What was the one that moved up the most? The one that was the biggest pop in 1 day's time? What was it? There were a couple that ran really well, but for all of us here, Michael, Leda, Chuck, I mean, maybe the Newegg trade, possibly, Chuck. I mean, definitely since what, like the beginning of summer? That's definitely the answer there. I was more even thinking the BSLK trade, right? That was an insane move. Went from what, like $2 up to 17. So, no, what that does is it unlocks the door, for the insane asylum and all the crazies break out of it. So with that said, I'm sure we're going to find other runners here. IOBT, like I just going to go back to here. So nice trade on the way up to resistance at 2. Why not? Easily enough, just put this on our list. Actually, timeout. Not so easy. Give me a quick second here. I remember this stock, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually just scroll back because I thought this stock was on our pre-market watch list just on one of these mornings, and this thing was just a disaster. So let me actually just show you the 15-minute chart. Yep. Yep. I remember this. So this is back on the 11th that we ended up trading this thing. So let me just show you our watch list here. Scroll down, go over right here. 7:46 in the morning. This is back on, I think this was Monday, right? So we had our pre-market watch list. At the time, this was number one. It was like the stock that was looking the best heading into the 8 o'clock move. Then I don't know what the hell happened. After 8 o'clock, this thing fell off the high diving board heading right into the pool. But ended up crashing right back down, failed to hold support. And then once that happens, you kind of just look away because you know what's going to happen afterwards more often than not. If it's not immediately like it did here, then it's just across the day into the next day. But that's where you got to be careful on this one, though. So, yeah, for right now, the IOBT will add to our list, but just history could repeat itself. Same with PPSI. I'm in on this trade right now from 437. I took a loss on this earlier from 445, and I thought it was a good entry at the time, but just ended up shaking back down. It popped the trend line, but then pulled back. And then at that point, I started to think maybe it could hold over just a wick or two like we had around 435, 437. And I've been in this trade since, even on the shakedown, and I guess it almost took me out here. I have my stop set below this wick here down here, but listen, if it's not going to make higher highs, if it's not going to flip resistance into support, then this is more likely than not to pull back and drop off lower. My chart's a shit show here. Give me a second here. There we go. So yeah, if it breaks below this here, then I'll be taken out. I'm not going to put this on our watch list for you, though. I think that there's better trades for all of us collectively to work with, including, of course, the trade of the afternoon here so far. We're going to get to this, of course, the run trade. So again, just, if you're inside our live trading room, all throughout the day, we're posting. Myself, Fausto, Rich. So let me just show you this here briefly. If I can pop this up. There we go. So on the run trade, there we go. So we were talking about the run trade since like 12:30 in the afternoon, right around, where is it here? 12:36. During the time that Fausto was even doing his webinar, it started to break over resistance at 12, then 13. The interesting thing was, like, there wasn't really any news that came out on Run or any of the other solar stocks, at least that we didn't see. The solar trade's pushing up. I think one of our students posted news from yesterday morning in pre-market. I didn't really think that was the catalyst. I was just kind of like drumming up theories and possibilities, like maybe some big person like Burry, Tepper, Buffett, or someone trying to load up on one of the solar trades like Run. But either way, listen, all these are moving well today. Either way, we don't follow the news. We do, but we don't trade off the news. We don't trade off the news. We trade off the volume, right? So EMPH is a great trade here this afternoon. SEDG, like I had said before. Array, this is actually up a lot. This is one of the better moves here, at least. So for right now, I'll just kind of add all of those. And I'm sure that you could probably find more and look for like 10 other solar stocks. The ones that are moving the best are the ones that we'll find on the gainer side and the ones that are trading the most volume on the book. So we already got like 4 already. The SEDG, the Run, the Enphase trade, EMPH, and then also the Array trade. Shoot, I just messed up my watch list here. Give me a sec. There we go. Okay. All right, let's keep it moving though, because we have Array, we got all these solar stocks, and we got fossil, not fossil fuel. We're talking fossil the watch. So with that said, this was actually a nice little trade yesterday in the afternoon time, but it didn't really pop like it was doing here this morning. So maybe there is a chance that this could be a good short squeeze. I don't mind just kind of slipping this towards the back of our list for right now. There's that Array trade. Of course, United Healthcare made a good pop overnight. Speaking of Burry, Tepper, Buffett, they all loaded up on UNH over the last quarter, over the last few months. And with that said, UNH had a big push. So pulling back now, I'm not really too interested in it here for the afternoon. There's our SEDG. Got that one already. Said we cross our T's here, right? The more that you're with us inside our live trading room, you know what's what. You know what stocks move, more often than not. When if it's sector news or just if it's sympathy plays like that, like we do with like Nvidia. When Nvidia pops right away, what stocks are moving with Nvidia? AMD, Micron, Intel, all of those others. INVZ, it's at the high of the day here, kind of slow stock. I'll come back to it if we need to. SHLS, Shoals Tech Group. And listen, if there's other trades that I'm ignorant to that, I don't really realize that they're a solar stock, if they're at the high of the day like this thing is, so be it. The fact that this is just at the highs, I appreciate that more than, news than anything, really. Good orders on the book here, tight spread. All right, we'll edit. SHLS, come on down. Oh, First Solar. Forgot to mention First Solar. Yeah, First Solar is also another one. We're pretty familiar with this stock. Just that it's pretty expensive. That's the only gripe I got on it. Q back down. BBLP, NXT. Open was a nice push earlier. This thing is just like watching the grass grow. So I don't think that this is going to do too much on option expiration day. If it wants to prove me wrong with that, if this thing wants to just pop right now, then game on. But it's like I'll believe it when I see it type deal. Prove me wrong type deal. And this was a great call out earlier by Roberto, and unfortunately, this just kind of topped off at 14, and that was it. ARWR, a little push before, not much to it now. Lyft had a good squeeze up earlier. Maybe Lyft could be a nice trade here heading into the afternoon. Let's see what else we got. IOVA, NEO. Not going to get that tripped up Lewis this time. He's trying to mess with me earlier between NIO and INO. I already suffer from enough traders' dyslexia there, Lewis. BBAI, nice run. Okay, there we go. Come on down, baby. All right, so BBAI and not Soon. Soon is not making that move right now, at least. So that'll continue to be on our side list. But yeah, BBAI continuing to try to fill this gap. And I'll likely try and jump in on that as a swing trade in due time. Maybe not today, but in due time. This could still just be a good day trade here heading into the afternoon. So we'll edit. Now at this point, we're pretty much at 5%. So if there's anything else looking good, folks, Kathleen, Brad, Bill, Michael, all of us just here in chat, let me know. I don't know what the hell happened to a couple of these trades. CUPR or CUPR Cupper. This thing fell off a cliff. Maybe there could be some sort of short squeeze, and this can go back up to $1.50, maybe. Right? This can go from $1 to $1.50. Maybe even try and fill some of the gap here at this point. Wishful thinking, right? How much lower could this stock really go, dollar per share wise? Well, literally $1.02, right? So I wouldn't try and swing trade this, if anything, but maybe if the shorts want to cover, this could be a good squeeze back up into the afternoon. It's like relatively new IPO back from April. So if it is easy to borrow or shortable and people are covering short, it would lead to a little squeeze, but let's see what else we got here. Maybe some better shorts to work with. Let's see, actually. You know what I gotta do on this thing? Let's do this here. Kind of. I try and go from $1 up because you find stocks like that other trade there, CUPR, that make a pretty good drop off that could lead to a dead cat bounce. But more than anything, you want to focus on stocks above $5 for a short. SBET dropping back down right now. And BMNR is holding up pretty nicely here, so I'm in on that as well. One of my trades up on the top right of my platform. Bitcoin's pulling back a little bit. Market's kind of holding here for right now, so maybe this will just lead to a slingshot. But SBET's at the low of the day. I wouldn't mind adding SBET on our list, not even as a day trade. It could go lower. It's at the lows. I would focus on that maybe first. But if this fails to break lower, then perhaps this is the point where we'll see a bit of a bounce and a squeeze back up going into Monday, Tuesday next week. The issue is on the long-term graph is that this thing is on I'm not even from that line. Let's actually just make it from like more of a consolidation area. You can kind of just use these wicks here over time, pulling through. It's on a nice downtrend with lower highs. So it's not really the greatest swing trade candidate based off of that, but maybe this could be the beginning of something otherwise there. AMAT took a huge hit early, I think overnight actually, right? In the after hours. yesterday. RCAT down big. Not really doing much right now, though. And that's kind of all I see, folks. I mean, really, it's option expiration day, right? For the, even for the monthlies. So you can probably see a lot of volatility, but you don't know which way the market's going to look to break here. Pretty ugly market that we got going on here. Not even in the sense of down, just in the sense of just doing next to nothing. So if there is anything else that I missed, folks, let me know. All hands on deck kind of thing here. Hop over to the YouTubes here first. Later, as always, love you. Simulcasting here as always on YouTube, joining us inside our live trading room. What else we got? The BSLK. Oh, maybe that was from earlier, some earlier chat from us before, right? Yeah, this thing's not going back up. All right, so I'll tell you what. I think that we kind of touched upon a lot of different trades already. Let me just look at Benzinga Pro before we call it a wrap. GANX. I don't know what that thing is. I probably need to jack up my volume filter here. So give me a moment. Do. Yeah, it's like nothing really here. You got Fossil. I think we already added that to our list for right now. Just that's on the back end. You know what I'll do? I'll look at like some of these like communications companies on the long term. If you're looking at like a VZ or if you're looking at like an AT&T, yeah, VZ is not the greatest chart here of late. It's kind of going back up, but AT&T has been the much hotter hand between the two. I saw those kind of pop back up on my scanner there for a little bit, but who knows? Over time, maybe AT&T can finally break out of this area. I just think about T-Mobile, right? Think about T-Mobile. This has just been, no pun intended, on a rocket ship. This thing has been on an absolute space launch up to the moon. So, who knows? Maybe some of those trades will be better swings over time as well. PPSI probably going to get stopped out on this piece of crap soon. I almost did just before here, actually. Oh, it almost stopped me out. I was like a penny shy. It almost wicked me out here. But, I mean, I'm not going to put this on our main list. If this makes a Hail Mary pop, I'll call it out for everyone here. But otherwise, I like the Rigetti trade, at least even there, as a potential swing trade. The IREN, that one, I think at this point, if we don't already have on our list, yeah, we added the IREN, right? You got the IREN trade, right? Yeah, we got it. All right, let me make sure I don't mess this up here before we finish up here, folks. Make sure I get this out in time to all of our students and traders live inside our trading room. I got like 1,000 windows up here, so give me a quick moment. There we go. All right. So, hey, best of luck for all of us. If you're on YouTube, Facebook Live, etc., heading into this market close. If you wanted to learn more about what we do, just a couple of options that we provide, go right down below, hit that like button here on this video. That'll help us out at least. And, but otherwise, just click the follow or subscribe button down there so you know when we're going live, when we're streaming each and every day. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, just go right down to the link scrolling down below in blue on the bottom, ctu.co/trial. Otherwise, we look forward to having you there. We've got about like 97 of us right now. So, for a summer Friday, we got a decent amount of us here. Like I said, Sam, Leda, Chuck, you got Dave, Lawrence, Scott, Roger, Farzad, Michael, all of us just here. So, I'll be back on taking you into the close, folks. Give me about 15 or so minutes. I'll be back on the mic. And actually, when I jump off here, I'm probably going to reshare my screen in a bit. Probably just going to re-log out, log back in. So if you don't mind, probably have the screen blank for a moment. And then we'll be back up and running. All right, folks, we'll talk to you all soon. Take care.